systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We got a Thursday slate of some baseball. Been a couple Thursdays since Matt and I got to come on here and talk some baseball. A little light slates in the past weeks, but today we got us a little 5-gamer here at the night window. So excited to break it down with my man Matt. It's been a couple days here. I got you twice this week, so it's been a little treat here. But Matt, how's it going? How's your week been? And what's your little brief overview of the slate so far?
Yeah, happy we're back on here. We got a Thursday slate to talk over, even if it's a small one. Much different pitching slate than we saw yesterday. Small slate, so one of those like anything goes type of slates, but also we've got a Wrigley wind game where weather there seems really optimal for hitting and home runs. Obviously, we're going to have to navigate through that. One, like, clear top pitching option, and the rest pretty murky. So, one great hitting spot, one top-tier pitcher. The rest is kind of up in the air. That's how I'm seeing the slate. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Chris Sale, he's obviously far and above and beyond. I mean, he doesn't have the greatest strikeout matchup, obviously, with the Blue Jays, but I mean, really, just kind of looking at the numbers, like Shota would be one of the better pitchers. And, dude, he's just been trash his last 3 starts. Absolutely. I think he's given like 20 earned runs and like 6 homers in his last 3 starts. Has not been very good. But, yeah, I mean, Chris Sale, is he going to get there? I mean, if Chris Sale was on a bigger slate with some other choices, Chris Sale to me would kind of be an easier type fade for me to get away from. But dude, what we're working with today, it's just kind of slim on the other side to even try to keep up with Sale in a below average matchup for him. So
right, it's like if you're not playing Sale, who are you playing? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
Right. Yeah, pretty tough here. But say hi to some of the people. We got Big Little Neck in here, Michael W. in the house, Gang Green in the house, William in the house, Bob, Juice in the house, Taco Todd, New York, Stiegel in the house. But hey, I want to mention something here real quick, Matt. I know the other show we had I don't even know what the hell it was. It was like a tip or something that about a question. And I overlooked it. I was on the other screen trying to, drive the show and do all that fun stuff, and it got buried up in the comments. So I do apologize to that viewer. But his question was, why do you feel, Matt, you do better on short slates, smaller slates, than you do larger slates? So he said that you wanted to take a minute to think about that, and I think that was from like a previous show, and then he came back. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. I do apologize to that guy for missing that, though.
Yeah, I hope he's watching. I think it was chokehold him, something like that. Appreciate you remembering. I know I had mentioned on a previous show that I did with, I can't even remember who, last week, a couple weeks ago. Just seemingly this year, I've had a bunch of success on like the late slate stuff, smaller slate stuff, and not as much on the main slate stuff. And as much as I have looked into it, I mostly think it's just variance, and just that's how the cookie has crumbled for me so far this season. Still dealing with like smallest sample sizes, but I've always preferred smaller slates. So my preference is smaller slates. I like slates of this size. It's kind of been where I've had my most success always. So maybe it's just something I should look at, and it's kind of just is what it is. But no, I don't really know the exact reason, but appreciate you mentioning it. Sorry we forgot to answer that question live last show. Hopefully you're tuning in today.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing DFS baseball forever. It seemed like 2012 or something like that. And I always like the smaller slates too. And I just think it's because, there's like you said, the variance. There is many different paths to beat you. Generally, if you pick out the like the team that scores the most runs and you stack them up in a few different ways, generally you're going to be pretty successful. But generally on larger slates, there's just so many different paths and ways that you can get beat. But on the smaller slates, you can take more of a stand. And if that stand pays off, generally it seems like, if you fade, the chalk or fade a chalky pitcher, I think it's just easier to navigate through smaller slates because I said there aren't too many other things that can come up and bite you. It's just,
the only thing I'll say to that
slates,
is,
man, I feel like you could have a dude hit 3 homers on a 10-game slate, and that doesn't mean that dude's going to be on the winner. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because if the other 3
what you mean.
And they stack them didn't do shit, it isn't going to matter unless someone played the guy as a one-off. Like, so a lot of times, even the bigger slates, you don't necessarily have to have that one guy. Like,
yeah, the only thing I'd say to that is like the field knows it too. So like if you take a stand, like on smaller slates, the field is just with you more. So in some aspects, it's harder to get to the top because you got more people playing what you're playing. So for me, I don't really know why it is. And there have been seasons where I've had more success on main slates than late slates, but this season it's been kind of the other way around. I hope that turns around though, because I always play for more money on main slates. So hoping we get one tonight.
Yeah, that is going to be the plan tonight. But take a peek here. We got the stone pulled up here. We'll go through some pitching here. I mean, obviously, Chris Sale sitting up there with the Blue Jays. Got a matchup here with the Jays. Sale's at 32% strikeouts against the lefties, 29% against the righties. Isn't really that many strikeouts to be had in this Toronto lineup. Isn't one that we generally chase for strikeouts. But like I said at the top, I mean, we're not working with very much here today. Chris Sale is, far and beyond the best pitcher on the slate today. But I can't really see a reason why to try to get too cute with him here. I think he's going to be very popular today. I mean, on FanDuel, I think maybe it'd be a little easier because you only got to pick one dude to hit. If you got to pick 2 dudes out of this mess here on DK to hit, I think that's going to be a little bit more tougher in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, after that, you got Shote, as I mentioned. It's just not been very good. He's sitting there at 8,500. And then you got Werbluski in a 16% strikeout percentage against the D-backs, who really don't strike out against left-handed pitching. So I really don't like that at all either. I don't mind throwing Lugo in there against a Twins team. It's just like he's just not really the guy we want to chase for strikeouts. But, I mean, if I'm looking for a guy who maybe gets some innings for me and eat up some outs and get some points, I think Lugo is definitely in that consideration. Again, a little scary there against the Cubs. I actually like the Cubs, as you mentioned. We got a win game sitting there. Then you got Jones with Pittsburgh against Houston. Kang, maybe you could look at. You got Paredes down there with Minnesota. I mean, it really isn't too much here that they look at. I think Jared Jones is kind of like a wild card, second start of the year. Highly touted prospect, got hurt, came back. Hasn't been all that great so far in the minors. He did throw 77 pitches his last time out, so I would assume he would be in the mid-80s. I think he's kind of like a wild card, kind of like I mentioned like yesterday with Cole. It's just hard to determine where these guys are at after injuries. But, man, like I said, Matt, after Sale, man, it gets pretty ugly quick. I mean, if Shota was himself that he's been, a couple starts prior to where he's looked like shit, he would definitely be an easy pivot off of Sale, that's for sure. But, man, like I said, this dude's in, 15 innings. He's given up 21 hits, 20 earned runs, and 8 homers. Ouch. That's like softball pitching numbers. But what do you think here of this pitching mess we got?
Yeah, so it's definitely Sale than everyone else. No doubt about that. I don't, have a strong take on, the field outside of Sale. For me, it's mostly that I don't really like anyone. Robleski at that price tag is going to be a no for me. Lugo, same thing. Jared Jones is where it starts to get interesting. He's got arm talent. We know he's had a bunch of success in the majors before. Has dealt with injuries, wasn't great in his return this year. Tang on the other side of that game has been decent lately. Cheap tag at 6,500. Pittsburgh's offense has been good, but on this slate, I think you have to at least look at him. And then the other guy, JT Ginn, you mentioned him. If it weren't for the win game, I'd be more interested, but so would the field. So I think that you got to at least have him in play at 7,700. And then the other guy that I'm interested in is Ryan Nelson, who, man, on a normal slate, I never would say that against the Dodgers, but it's slim pickings tonight. I like the chalkier offenses. Maybe this is a spot to get different at pitcher on a slate without really any good SB2 options. Suspending down, I think, is where I want to go. As far as like talent goes, I think Nelson is right there, probably, after Imanaga and Jones. But Imanaga hasn't been good lately, and Jones has been hurt forever. So I feel better about Nelson against the Dodgers on this slate than I would on basically any other slate ever. So that's where I'm leaning right now. Field won't get there because it's against the Dodgers, and he's, very likely probable to get blown up because it's the Dodgers. But I think he's talented to get through them here, and it gives you a lot of salary freeness. So I think Nelson for me.
Yeah, it does get ugly real quick when we're sitting here talking about picking on the Dodgers. So that just pretty much explains it. But like I said, I think Chris Sale's an easier fade on FanDuel just because you got to have one guy hit and then two over here on DK. But yeah, I mean, I think Jones is definitely interesting for sure. Amaga scares me, and like you said, with the wind, I mean, he definitely should be the SP2 as far as talent and everything on the slate. But I mean, there's just so many red flags up in the air with that matchup and how he's been pitching lately. It just kind of makes it a little bit scarier. But yeah, as you mentioned, pitching's kind of thin down there. I mean, Chris Sale's going to be massively owned today. I mean, I'm thinking 70%ish, probably higher, I would assume.
Way higher. Way higher.
Like way higher, 80 some percent.
90.
Yeah. I mean,
and like the higher dollar stuff, 90, because there's just no one else to go to. So that would be the reason not to play him, just the ownership. That's all it is.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Over the years, I've kind of always debated with myself. Let's say you got a 90% on Chris Sale today, and obviously the tournament you're playing in is 22%. I mean, even if you fade him, I mean, and he's still, if he does really well, you pretty much probably don't have much of a chance. But if he does shitty, I just feel like there's a window where you're only in a 10% window. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could get up at the top, but if you don't fade a guy that has like a 90% ownership and he does shitty, it's not going to kill you on the other end. You know what I mean? Like what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
there's the risk reward. I get it. The risk reward. I understand what you're saying. For me, at that point, when you get into such high ownership, like I hear what you're saying, but on the same token, like the point and the goal in any tournament is to get all the way to the top. So like when you've got a guy 90+% owned, which we're not even projecting, but that's what I think, then it starts to bring into play like random occurrences, like that just anything happens that if 90% of the field has this guy, you could take them out. And it also starts to bring into play like Toronto stacks. But I'm personally not there because I'm a Sale guy in general. He's a horse. He's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. On a slate, I play him on almost all slates he's on. So I'm playing him tonight.
I'll tell you, Chris Sale is one of my favorite pitchers too, because one of the best stories I have ever heard in baseball is when they tried to make Chris Sale wear this funky White Sox uniform that he didn't want to wear, and he went in the locker room and got a pair of scissors and cut his shit up so that he couldn't wear it. So ever since I heard that, I've just always thought, man, I kind of like character sometimes, and he's definitely a character. But after Sale, throw out your top couple pitchers after that, after Chris Sale.
Yeah, it's ugly. I'm going to say Tang and Nelson just because of the cheapness of them. Like maybe Jones, Tang, and Nelson, those three.
All right. Yeah, I'd throw Lugo in there as well, somewhere in that mix, just because he's not that great of a strikeout pitcher, but I think he can eat up some innings against the Twins. I just think he could get some points for you. I mean, at 7,900, it's not. I wish he was down in 6,900. I'd feel much better about it. But yeah, I think he's about the only other one in play now. Manga, 8,500. I'm not going there. I think I'd rather play the A's today, to be truthful with you, the way he's been pitching. I don't know if there's something wrong with him or what, but it just doesn't seem to be himself here in recent times. But let's take a look at some bats. I mean, with all this pitching, you'd think we got some offense, and I think we do. With the 10 teams we got playing today, there's a lot to be had and a lot to be said today. I think you can almost make an argument for everybody except maybe the Blue Jays against Sale today. But just taking a look here at the Stone, we got the first game, 7:15, Blue Jays and Braves come right out with Chris Sale against Mason Flaherty here. I mean, Acuna has been absolutely on fire here in recent times. Got a lefty there. We got Dubon, who's been hitting really well, hit a homer yesterday. Braves sitting there, 4.75 run total, fourth highest total of the teams here on the slate today. But man, Acuna has been hot. Kind of in the news today, he was looking at them baseballs, trying to see one was bigger than the other, and he was like looking at them. And I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, kind of brought up a controversy about them using certain baseballs for certain teams and all this crap. And I was just like, blah blah blah. I wouldn't doubt it, but I mean, still, it was just funny to see a guy sitting there looking at the balls. But either way, I got some interest in these Braves. I don't know so much about the Blue Jays. I don't even know if there's really a one-off here that maybe I would, like to go after. I mean, the fly ball percentage for Sale has been at 29% to righties. I mean, maybe like a Vladdy if you wanted to go there, maybe Springer if you wanted to go and throw a one-off against your pitcher. And you know what, Matt, I'm not even opposed to on this 5-game slate with pitching as shitty as it is, maybe throwing in a Blue Jay as a one-off. Maybe Sale gives up a homer or two. You capture that, still get Sale strikeouts, and maybe you get ahead with one of these Blue Jay bats. But, man, I don't know. It's kind of slim pickings on that side, but Braves looking pretty decent.
Yeah, Braves look pretty good here. Relative to the other teams on the slate, I think they look good, not amazing. Acuna, I like them more as pieces. Got a kind of a bullpen game here for the Jays. So never spots I love picking on. But Atlanta's offense is so good that, like, on a small slate like this, they're obviously in play, if nothing else. If it weren't for the win game in Chicago, I'd probably have them higher ranked. Right now, I think they look good, but mostly mini stacks for me. And then obviously one-offs, Acuna, Albies. I mean, their whole lineup is filled with guys you can play. So when you have a lineup filled with good one-offs, probably means the stack isn't bad itself.
Yeah, now too, I think the Cubbies are going to be fairly popular here today, and I've never been opposed to full stacking a team and then throwing in some one-offs that I like. You don't always have to, necessarily play two teams. I like to kind of fool with that a little bit more on shorter slates too, instead of me just jamming in some, cheap guy somewhere else. Maybe I want to throw in a guy I think at least has some home run potential in my lineup here today. But I think definitely interest when Acuna has just been absolutely on fire. He's top 3 in OPS in the last 2 weeks in all of baseball. Harris has been hitting the ball pretty well for Atlanta too, but Acuna finally woke up there. He obviously started out pretty slow, that's for sure. But moving on, 7:40 game. We have the Royals and Seth Lugo versus the Twins. The Twins throwing out Andrew Morris, Jack Morris's kid. I'm just kidding. It's not Jack Morris's kid. But either way, I mean, Bobby Witt's been looking good. He's always in play. Morris is not really that great of a strikeout pitcher. I don't really expect them all to go too far. Fly ball kind of lean here. But, maybe you could look at some Twins. Their team total's really low. I don't really like, a full stack there. But as far as the Twins, actually, 4.8 total. The Royals had the lower team total. Sorry. But I don't really want to pick on Seth Lugo, to be honest with you. Strikeout percentage a little lower to the right side at 16%. He has been getting barreled up by both sides of the plate so far this year. But, man, if I got to make a stand somewhere on pitching. Lugo isn't a guy that I don't mind. I don't really like picking on in general. But, I mean, you see anything here? I think Bobby Witt would probably be the guy stand out for me.
Yeah, I actually don't mind either side of this game. I don't love bullpen games, but Minnesota's bullpen isn't good. And KC, they've started to get going a little bit. Good series in Cincinnati for them. You could play Cincinnati or Kansas City, excuse me. And then Minnesota, I'm more okay with picking on Lugo than you are. I don't think he's very good right now, not in good form. Minnesota's lineup isn't that good either, though. And I don't think he gets a lot of love. So I'm a little torn on Minnesota. I think I like them more than you, but not sure enough to actually play them. Kansas City might be the same for me. Both sides of this game are in play. Like, we don't really like pitching on this slate outside of Sale. So basically every other stack is in play. It's just a matter of how much you like them. And I like these two. Don't love them.
Yeah, I mean, Morris is coming in. It looks like Paredes is going to come in right after, and then you're going to get some of that bullpen or the Twins that is not all that good either. So, maybe that bump up the Royals a little bit just because that bullpen isn't all that good.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the Royals I'm coming around a little bit more on the Royals than in the past. They do have a little bit more power than they have in the past, but it just still not quite there for me yet. That's for sure. But on a smaller slate, I'm open to anything on a smaller slate like this. But the marquee game where we're going to see a lot of the offense here today, we got a game total of 10 out there in Wrigley Field wind game. We got the wind blowing out between 10 and 12 miles an hour straight to center field. You're going to have a Manga, who I mentioned has been struggling here in recent times. Does not look good. His last 3 starts been getting absolutely beat up. Nick Kurt's been hitting. Langolier's been hitting. Henry Bolte hasn't been looking bad against lefties. Manga has been just been getting barreled up for almost 14% to lefties, 10% to righties. Has not been looking good. He's been walking more guys than he has in the past, 8.5% to the left side. The strikeout percentages are there, 29% to the left and 22 to the right. But, man, I just think with the wind blowing out, with this fly ball percentages being as high as it is, you look at some of these A's, they hit fly balls. I mean, up top, you got 3 out of the 5 guys are up in the 40% range, which is pretty high for fly balls. So, I think that could be definitely a problem for Shote. And the higher fly ball here, Rooker, Soderstrom, Colby Thomas, Nick Kurtz is at 35%, Langolier's in the mid 30%. So, definitely Shote's got his work cut out for him. So I do like some A's, but I think a lot of people are going to go with the Cubs here tonight against JT Ginn. You just look at Ginn, his walk percentage has been awful so far this year. 13% walk percentage to the left side, which has not been good. His Ks have been down at 18%. His Ks are their right side, up at 25%. But we know these Cubbies got some good lefties. PCA, Bush. We always like some Bush. We got Happ, Ballesteros, I expect to be in there. But, I think this one's interesting. We got a win game. We got a total of 10. Cubbies sitting there with the team total a little bit over 5. And then you got the A's sitting there about 4.6, but yeah, the 5.1 is the highest on the slate here, Matt. I don't know. I think the Cubbies are going to be pretty popular today, especially them lefties. But I think this game is full of offense on both sides.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Cubs are a little more popular too. Ginn is one of the biggest splits guys in baseball. He's really good against righties, not so much against lefties. And you want the lefties against him here. Win game in Wrigley. So even the righties, if they get a hold of one here, hard not to like both offenses. I think Imanaga and the A's are more boom bust. I think the A's have the higher upside than the Cubs. I think the Cubs are more likely to score some runs against Ginn, where Imanaga has been clearly up and down this season. All in all, with how good the weather is here, I like both these offenses a lot. I don't think you're crazy at all to have them as your top 2 on the board. How you want to play them, I think, is a personal preference. I'm with you. I kind of like the A's more, but I like the Cubs as well. Waiting for both lineups to drop, I think still.
Yeah, I think you could definitely game stack this one if you want to look at that too. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad option if this one turns into a softball game, which very well could happen. But definitely these two teams are full of some offense. definitely. I don't know, man. Shota to me, I just got a bad feeling. I mean, his K prop 6.5. I mean, he's got decent K prop and everything. It's just I don't know. I just think it's something just don't seem right, especially to go 3 starts like that and just not look good at all. But we move on. We got the later games here. We got 2 games left. We got Pittsburgh and Houston. We got Houston with we got K.Y. Ting on the hill, and then we got Jared Jones, as we mentioned, the prospect who ended up, I believe it was his elbow that was messed up. But highly touted prospect here. I mean, you do have a couple strikeouts, Trammell, Smith, Bryce Matthews at the bottom of the lineup. But generally, Houston doesn't have all that many strikeouts, especially at the top. The top 4 don't have too many strikeouts. You look at Jones, he's only had 21 plate appearances so far this year, didn't pitch all last year. So we're not really sure where we're getting here out of this guy, especially coming out of injury. But I mean, I could see that being a reason why maybe you'd want to go with Houston, especially if Jones gets steamed up here as we get closer to lock time. But on the other side, Pittsburgh bats against Tang. Tang has been walking quite a few lefties here recent time, 14% walk rate. Iwobi's been giving up 335, 31% fly ball rate to the left side, which I think is interesting. But yeah, I mean, if I want some lefties here against Tang, Pittsburgh's definitely going to be able to provide some with Horowitz, Lau, O'Hearn, O'Neill Cruz. Definitely going to be in play today. Brian Reynolds, of course, being the switch. So they're going to be able to throw some lefty power at him. We know that Houston bullpen isn't all that good either, Matt. So I think Pittsburgh's definitely in play today. I don't know if I have them in my top, 2 or 3 today. I do think maybe the Cubs I would rank a little higher and probably the A's a little bit higher. But I definitely think Pittsburgh's in play.
Yeah, this game has gone off back-to-back days. Yesterday you needed the stack. Day before you needed the stack. So why not again today with maybe the worst pitching matchup we've seen all series long? Tang has been good lately, but I'm not really buying what he's selling. So Pittsburgh, you mentioned the bullpen problems Houston's had. Definitely in play here. Houston on the other side against a Jared Jones that's unknown right now. Also in play. So, yeah. I like this game, but I also think this is the one like true wild card game where you could play either pitcher. You could play either stack. Like none of them are that great to me, but none of them are out of play because of how small the slate is. I think the Pittsburgh stack probably looks the best on paper of all the sides.
Yeah, Alvarez has been smacking the shit out of the baseball. Last 2 weeks, he's number 1 in OPS in all of baseball. So, dude's been absolutely smashing here recent time. At 1.340, dude's been 6 homers in his last 40 at-bats. I mean, he's been looking real good, 13 RBIs, 375 average, 490 on-base percentage. Alvarez has just been ungodly here in the last couple weeks. So, he's definitely – somebody that I'd look at maybe jamming in there today if you can do that. There's some cheap pitchers today, so if you want to spend up on a bat, obviously throwing in the hottest hitter in baseball isn't a bad idea. My G's be rising when I listen to G. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yesterday we were giving Nades and them a little shit about the Brewers ground ball pitcher against a ground ball team. What ended up happening? Didn't even get a damn hit there in a little while. Nades was giving me some shit, but always fun giving Nate some shit and friendly crap. That's for sure. But Matt, we got one game left here today on the slate. 5-gamer. We got the Dodgers and Arizona sitting at a 9. We got Justin Wroblewski, low strikeout pitcher, both sides, 17% the left side, 17 basically percent to the right side against the D-backs team that we know does not strike out all that much. We don't generally like chasing the D-backs for strikeouts. And then you got Reen Nelson here against the Dodgers, who you mentioned maybe you'd be interested in playing a little bit of Reen Nelson in this short pitching slate that we have here tonight against the Dodgers, who do have the highest team total here tonight. But I mean, you got some of these lefties. I don't know if Tucker's going to get moved up in the lineup. You got Freddie Freeman, Muncy, Dalton Rushing. I would expect to probably be in there here today as well. But yeah, I mean, you got Dodgers, you got Nelson, who were a little bit interested in here today. But I actually think the D-backs are kind of interesting as a low-owned stack here against Wrigley, who just doesn't strike out too many hitters. He does give up a little bit of fly balls, 33% to the right side, 31% to the left side. So I don't mind targeting the D-backs here, especially when they're low owned. I think they're interesting. They got a pretty good lineup that can turn that lineup up and down.
I'm with you. The Dodgers are obviously in play. I like Nelson just because the slate stinks, and I think he's talented, but the Dodgers stack on paper, best offense in baseball on a slate with 10 teams. I mean, they are by far the best offense on this slate. So that alone puts them in play. That said, I do like Nelson in tournaments. So I'm probably going to be lower on the Dodgers in the field, but that's just a personal thing. That's not like I don't like them or anything. And I'm with you on Arizona. Wrigley is not very good. I think he's due for some regression. Was really, really good last time out against Philly. I'm not buying it. I don't know if I'm going to stack Arizona here, but I like pieces. Ketel Marte, obviously, probably the top second baseman on every slate he's on tonight, no exception between him and Brandon Lau. So, yeah, I like pieces of Arizona, and the Dodgers, if you're not playing Nelson, which most people aren't, look good as a full stack.
Yeah, the thing, stacking Arizona, that Dodger bullpens is pretty good. So not one that I generally like to pick on. But, I mean, we got a 5-game slate here tonight. And before we get out of here, Matt, I mean, is there any, as we had the question at the top that, play on shorter slates, you seem to have more success. Are you more apt, like I kind of mentioned, to maybe try different things you wouldn't do on a 10-gamer, like maybe pitting a hitter against one of your pitchers in a lineup? Or are you more apt to maybe not fully double stack where you maybe have, 4 hitters on DK instead of 5, and then maybe you're throwing in a 2-2 or a 2-2, 2-1-1-1, just throwing in some power bats. Is there anything you like? Maybe you do different. You're willing to do different on a short slate than you are a longer slate.
Yes to all that. I think playing guys against your pitcher on shorter slates obviously just is more in play, especially on a slate like this, where you mentioned it with playing a guy against Sale. But for me, while that's definitely also in play because the Toronto guys are going to be really low owned, it's more like against any other pitcher that you play, I think you can play a guy or two against them because we don't expect great performances from any of them. So all of them are probably going to get hit around. You want homers, you're homer hunting. Like even if I play Ryan Nelson, doesn't mean that I can't play a Kyle Tucker or whatever with him. So yeah, much more likely to do that than I am like on a main slate. You're just not doing that on a main slate. For me, honestly though, just thinking about it, I think it's more that like I don't do enough different on main slates and small slates. I like playing bottom of lineups and guys that are really low owned. And that's more apropos and better on short slates because there's just a smaller player pool. It goes back to what you talked about where, on main slates, there's just so many guys that can do damage. So I don't know the exact answer. I'm kind of just spitballing out loud.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, one thing I always stick with me at DFS, listen to your gut sometimes, like sometimes your gut and your that inner self will tell you something, like, oh man, I really like this guy today. And you just ignore him or, it's that, oh, I got 800 left in salary and I'm going to bump this guy up and take this guy out. You might as well go bet on the guy you took out to go hit a home run because we all know how that shit works out every damn time. I know it seemed like that way for me. That's for sure. But Matt, before we get out of here on this 5-gamer, give me your top stacks, and then let's maybe throw out a home run for everybody.
We got a Lamont Wade shout out. Yeah, that's not definitely. I didn't even know is what. Oh yeah, Ryan Wade for the Dodgers, right? Is that who's in the lineup? Must be.
I didn't see. Second. Did he make?
Well, because Josh Gillen was talking about Lamont Wade, and he's definitely not in the big league still. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but either way, top stacks got to be the Cubs, the A's, and number 3 will go. I like that Pirates call. We'll go with the Pirates. They're hot right now. Home run call, we will go with. We'll go lead off for the Royals. Carter Jensen gets one tonight.
All right, I like Carter Jensen getting one. I got the Cubbies. I also like the Pirates, A's. Throw in the Dodgers in there as well. Home run for me today. I am going to go with Brandon Lowe. I think he gets one done for the Pirates here in that game today. So, yeah, he's good. He's got Astros. Is that what he said?
It must be. You know what? He's right. Lamont Wade must be on the Astros hitting fifth. Man,
Lamont
out of nowhere.
Wade.
Yeah, out of nowhere. Good call, Josh. It's rare someone sneaks by me in the MLB streets, and this one did out of nowhere. Lamont Wade. Good call out.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, though, man, when you're around your friends and they'll be like throwing – some of my friends will be throwing hitters and pitchers at me. What handed are they? And it's like, come on. I look at this shit every day. Man.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You might
We're
sneak
not the
one
ones
time
you want
once
to test.
in a while if the
Yeah.
dude like just came up or something, but it's very rare you get me.
Yeah, same. Like, we're just not the ones you want to test in games like that.
Right.
They
But,
just signed him to a major league contract. I'm checking to see what his deal has been. But, yeah, that's wild. Hitting fifth today. I doubt he's in the pool.
Lamont Wade. I mean, come on. There's enough talent in baseball to stop bringing back spoiled milk. But either way, Matt, enjoyed doing the show here with you today. We got some winners for you. We laid it all out. Didn't look like there's much weather. We're going to be putting our cores up there. Make sure you guys get over there, check out our new Slate plan here today. And I know there's no better time to get in over here at Ship It Nation. We got the code Ship It 19, 5 days for $19 if you want to look at that. But yeah, a lot of sports going on. We got golf going on here that started out today. We got the MMA rolling. We got the Stanley Cup Finals. We got the NBA. Brunson, good call on that one. Brunson just looks like he's tough. And man, I never seen Cat fucking play that tough, man. That dog, he decided to come out and play last night and gave Wemby a little bit of fits yesterday. So that was interesting to see. But yeah, I was just laughing at that fan that ran on there, thought he was going to get a selfie. They ought to put that dude in jail for a few days. Let him think about that one. But Matt, you got any last words before we run out of here?
No, man. Always a fun time doing these shows with you. Glad we got on twice this week. 2 fun slates. Wish I had listened to you on Tuesday about Grayson Rodriguez, but can't go back now.
You know, sometimes, if we all had the hindsight, we'd all be millionaires, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, appreciate you joining me. Appreciate everybody coming here today. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out for me. Definitely appreciate that. Everybody have a good week. I'll catch you guys next Tuesday when I come back next week. Appreciate everyone joining us, and let's ship it.